My amendment, I'm asking the House to support, strikes the funding for the Office of Resolution Management, Diversity, and Inclusion. The Office of Resolution Management, Diversity, and Inclusion in the VA is charged with promoting woke DEI initiatives. My amendment would strike over $86 million of funding for this woke office, which provides trainings for VA employees to teach them about their implicit bias. Just for you to understand what implicit bias means, because it was something I had to look up myself, it is described in ACORN. Implicit bias refers to a person's unconscious attitudes about other communities that can affect their behavior to those members. Unconscious attitudes, we are funding $86 million for people to be trained about things they feel that they don't know they feel. This makes absolutely no sense for the care of our great veterans. Instead of spending millions of tax dollars on woke ideology, we should put that money towards making the VA an agency that actually helps our heroes and our great veterans who served our military and our country and desperately need good care. When I'm at home in my district and I speak to veterans there, that is what I hear them talk about to me constantly. Is there care that they want to receive at the VA, but yet they're failed so many times? Sick and injured veterans suffering with PTSD, depression, mental illness, and on the verge of suicide don't care if VA employees serving them have checked their white privilege. They just want to get the treatment that they need. Just for some examples for the House to hear about the type of training that happens in this DEI department that is costing the American tax people $86 million. A few examples are managing gender diversity in the VA, managing implicit bias. Remember, those are feelings you don't know you have. Valuing workforce diversity and workplace inclusion. Participating effective diversity and inclusion in the workplace for managers, supervisors, and team leaders. Understanding micro behaviors in the VA work environment. It's time to put $86 million to taking care of our veterans' health care needs. That's the right place to spend the money. At this time, Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Florida seek recognition?
To claim time in opposition to the amendment.
Gentlelady is recognized to speak in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to claim time in opposition to this discriminatory amendment. VA strives to fairly represent and support the communities that it serves, and all veterans deserve equitable and fair access to the health care and benefits that they have earned. Diversity and inclusion foster a healthy workplace environment and promote equal opportunity through smart outreach, retention, and education. Our veterans, despite the sponsor's denial of a more greatly diverse VA, our veterans increasingly are diverse themselves, and they deserve that. The bill already rejected the budget request to fund the Office of Resolution Management, Diversity, and Inclusion at the levels needed to support the department in 2024, and instead holds the office flat at the same funding level provided in 2023. And now this amendment seeks to eliminate the already inadequate funding in the bill entirely. What is so threatening about the Office of Resolution Management, Diversity, and Inclusion? This office, among many things it does, prevents harassment and discrimination problems. I can't imagine why we wouldn't want to combat that, why we wouldn't want to make sure that everybody is able to come to work or to be treated at the VA in an even-handed and fair way. It heads off costly legal problems for the VA and saves taxpayer money in the long term, which I thought was something that our friends on the other side of the aisle are interested in. I believe the real issue is that our friends on the other side of the aisle don't like the increasing diversity that is occurring in this country. And there's an effort underway as a result across all appropriations bills to excise that word and any policy related to it, to cut anything related to diversity, regardless of the purpose and need of the office. This is an inherently discriminatory, unfair, bigoted amendment, and I urge my colleagues to oppose it, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentlelady from Texas recognized. Sorry, from Georgia, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The great news for all of us here today, as the Constitution declared long ago, is that all of us are created equal. And it's time that we start acknowledging that in all of our funding, in all of our departments and all across America, as well as our veterans are created equal. So we don't have to spend $86 million on educating everyone on how different they are. It's time to start treating everyone equal. As far as sexual harassment claims, private businesses all over the country are able to handle these without having special diversity, equity, and inclusion departments to handle sexual harassment. That's usually handled in human resources or among managers that can handle the situation. Management has always been a problem in the VA. We do not need to fund $86 million creating a big woke department that is actually already created. We should spend $86 million again towards helping our veterans. Our veterans have enough issues they faced. Not too long ago, there was a tragic story in Georgia where one of our veterans committed suicide while waiting for the care in the waiting office at the VA. This should never, ever happen. This type of funding, $86 million, again, should not go towards educating people about gender and gender bias, educating people about their skin color, educating people about how they think unconsciously without knowing how they think. These are the type of woke ideologies that divide and separate Americans, and veterans could care less about. They care about the care that they receive. They care about having their appointments. They care about their medical treatment. And they care about one another. And one of the things veterans care most about is the fact that they suffer with PTSD from all the foreign wars that they have been sent to and served in. It's time we take better care of our veterans and stop dividing America with identity politics. Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Jolie reserves. Jolie from Florida is recognized.
I yield back the balance of our time.
I'm sorry. Jolie yields back. Jolie from Georgia.
Yes, I'd like to yield 1 minute to Mr. Mass from Florida.
Gentleman from Florida is recognized for 30 seconds.
You know, I would say this. There's an attempt to divide the military. We see each other as brothers and sisters in arms. I come from the military, and I can tell you this. We don't care in the VA, and we didn't care on the battlefield if the person carrying us on or the person that we're carrying off is black or brown or white. We do have grooming standards, but I would say otherwise we don't care about the length of their hair or other things. The left fundamentally despises, in my opinion, that the military is this last bastion of best man, best woman for the job that exists in our country, and they're doing everything that they can in the VA and in the military alike to insert themselves and create division that otherwise does not exist there.